Hello and welcome to today's webinar, all about early years and mapping to the new EYFS framework. So 2Simple have mapped the resources on Purple Mash and Mini Mash to meet the new EYFS framework, and this webinar aims to show you firstly where to find the EYFS mapping resources, how to incorporate the new framework using Mini Mash, and ideas on how you can embed computing skills within the new EYFS framework. So to begin with, to show you where you can find the EYFS mapping resources within Purple Mash, it's exactly the same place where you'll find the computing scheme of work. So click on Teachers, and then the second option is the computing scheme of work. Within here, you'll see that we have the reception area. So our reception scheme of work, within this area, you'll see the 7 areas of the EYFS. And within each one, broken down to the different strands. So in here, the communication and language strand has been broken down into listening, attention and understanding, and speaking. If you open these up, it will explain the early learning goals for this area of the EYFS and give you lesson ideas as to how you can help facilitate these learning points within either Purple Mash, Mini Mash, or both. This same resource can also be found within Mini Mash. Entering the early years area from within Purple Mash, you just click on the first egg shape saying early years and then click on Mini Mash. If you're familiar with the Mini Mash settings, you'll notice that all of the options for you as teachers are hidden behind the Mini Mash logo. So if I click on this here, and I go down to the third option on the list, the scheme of work for reception, then I get the identical content that was just shown within Purple Mash, just accessed within the space of Mini Mash. So you can click through, you can access the resources, find PDF which you can either download or print out, and again referring to the early learning goals and showing you lesson ideas and starting off points to help you cover all the areas that you can do within Mini Mash and Purple Mash. Also within Mini Mash, you'll find behind the logo the links to EYFS document. It's a really useful interactive PDF that allows you to be able to see the coverage of the early years framework for 2021. You can navigate through, for example, looking at the early learning goal of speaking, and then you can see the outcomes at different developmental levels, the resources and ideas and activities as a jumping off point for you to then allow it to be child-led. If you click on a particular link, it will take you directly to that resource and it will open up in a new tab for you to be able to explore. So in this case, it's a castle one, and I can click through the slideshow and use this as a talking point with my children. So in order to utilise the new EYFS framework mapping within Mini Mash, it's key to get set up correctly to start making the most of it. To do this, you as a teacher need to be able to make sure that the settings are correct for your class. So I'm going to go back to Purple Mash now, and you'll see that when you're accessing the early years area within Purple Mash, it's really key to get your settings sorted to begin with. So it might be that you've not used the settings area before, or it's a new academic year, you need to make sure that your new cohort of children are all set up and ready to use the system. So by clicking on the settings, here I can see the classes that I'm assigned to. If I want to set it up so that my foundation class are all ready to get using Mini Mash, I can click on the class name, and any settings that I change will apply to all members of that class. Now, if you're happy for your children to land straight in Mini Mash when they log on, then select the top option to yes, and then click Save. What this means is that when they log in using their username and password, they will bypass the Purple Mash home screen and they will land straight away in the interactive learning space of Mini Mash. It's also really important, if your children are working within Mini Mash, that they have a tray created for each of them. So ensure that your second option on this list is also clicked on yes, and then select save. The key benefit of having trays created for each pupil is that when they log in by themselves, they'll be able to see their own tray and it will say My Tray. If the computer has automatically created their tray, they won't be able to see any of their classmates' trays. So it keeps all their work nice and private and personal to themselves, which is a key part of the PSHE strand of EYFS, knowing all about rules and being able to follow appropriate guidance. So being able to view their own work is really important. It's also a really nice time saver for you as a teacher, so you don't have to manually create each tray for every child in your class. And it's also key to note that if I have any children's trays created in Foundation and they're working in Minimash, I can view their work from within my Purple Mash work folder. If I click on my work folder and I expand my class list, I'll be able to view all of my pupils' work in their trays, just as if I was checking through children's Purple Mash work. So I can open up the class folder, open up the pupil subfolder, and then any work that they do within their Purple Minimash tray, they will be able to view. You can print and comment and so on from within Purple Mash. So don't feel that you as a teacher have to constantly flip between the two. You can see all their work from within your Purple Mash profile. Okay, so now if I go into early years and enter Minimash, I'll see that I'm currently on class 1, so I want to swap to my Foundation class. I'm going to click on the class name and I'm going to swap to Foundation. If you notice that you're not actually linked to the correct class, or within Minimash you can't see your nursery or reception class, just get in touch with your school's Purple Mash administrator, which is usually your IT coordinator, and they'll be able to make sure you're assigned to the right class so that you can see them in Minimash.
Okay.
So now I'm in my Foundation area. All the work within here will be my Foundation children. So I've got my pins set up. Here's one that I created separately. And I've also got some of the pre-made pins from within Minimash. And I'll show you how you can utilise these, either the pre-made ones or how you can create your own resources. Now, because I've asked the computer to create the trays for me, if I click on the trays, then you'll see that I've got all the children's trays here. When I'm logged in as myself, I can see all the children. So if you do have your Minimash account logged on your school whiteboard, then obviously the children can come up to the board, they can do their work, and they can save their work to their trays, and they will be able to see other children's trays as well if they're logged on as you. If they're logged on as themselves, they will only be able to see their own tray. As you can see here, some of these trays have got a little blanked out avatar silhouette because these children haven't yet created an avatar in Purple Mash, or they haven't had one manually added. If you would like to add either an image or a photo to each child's tray to help them identify it, just click on the pencil icon on the tray, and then where the image icon is, just click on it, and you can either navigate through the different Purple Mash and Minimash clip art. You can upload a photo from your computer, you can paint a picture. So I can just add an image for now, and that's Ida's image. Okay, so it's up to you, it's up to the children as well. If you want to change the colour of the tray, you can just click on the pencil icon, select the colour block, and then you can choose from the different colour options. Right, once you've got all your children's trays set up and you've got them logging into Minimash, then they're all ready to start doing some work and doing some exploring. Now, as you can see, Minimash is designed for exploratory learning. It's very much image-based rather than text-based to allow for pre-readers to be able to explore with confidence. You can probably hear that everything you hover over talks to you on this home screen. And there's also the outside area for learning as well. So you might be quite happy for the children to self-explore and navigate to the different activities, and they can click through. They can use the painting tools either on a tablet. They can use their fingers. Everything lends itself very well to touch technology. Alternatively, like myself, I'm on a computer, and if you're wanting to incorporate mouse skills, then they can do that just as well on here as well. Now, it helps set them up for their transition going into Key Stage 1 because all of the resources within Purple Mash have similar icons at the top of the screen. For example, this burger menu button at the top, if I click on it, I can create a new castle picture. I can open one I might have created before. I can save the picture and I can print it as well. They will get familiar as well with how to exit resources by clicking on the red and white arrow in the top right corner, and this is where they can choose to either leave or they can save their work. Now, if they're logged on as you, sharing the whiteboard in class, when they click save, then obviously because you have access to all the trays, they can navigate and find their own picture or their face or their tray from here. And all the work, quite helpfully, is automatically titled and dated for you. Okay. So again, you as a teacher can either view this work within the tray section of Mini Mash, or you can view it within the work folder area of Purple Mash. Now, if you want to actually theme the children's exploration, maybe streamline it so that they are looking at a particular topic or a particular area, the EYFS that you're focusing on, then we have these things in Mini Mash called pins. Now, a bit like pinning something to a notice board, you can pin up to 5 different pins within Mini Mash, and you can change them as often as you like. So you can see at the moment that the top pin is robot, and behind it we've got 3 different pins as well. You can access our library of pre-made pins by clicking on the Mini Mash icon, going down to the Edit Pins option, and on the left-hand side here, you'll see these are our pre-made resources that you can make use of. So you might want to remove some that have already been selected and add some onto the list. Now, whichever one has got the star illuminated will be the one that's seen at the top of the pin list. So if I press OK now, we've got the All About Me pin, and if I expand it, we can see the others behind. If the children click on the icon next to the pin, then they'll be taken to themed resources within that topic area. So, for example, the All About Me pin allows them to create jigsaws that reflect, their pets, their houses, their friends. They can paint their, self-portraits and so on. And also we have links to maths activities, mash cams, and also we have different slideshows and pairs games. So all of the pre-made pins allow you to, make use of pre-made resources that hopefully should save you a bit of time. However, with increasing use of Mini Mash, you'll probably find yourself confident enough to start making your own pins. So I'll show you how to do that now. And by the way, if you want to, at your own pace in the future, remember or refresh yourself of how to do it, if you click on the Mini Mash icon on the top and click on the help button, we have all our little video demo tutorials that show you how to do the things I'll go through today. So if you want to know how to make your own pins, just click on this option and you'll be able to watch a short tutorial. But if I want to make a pin now, I'm just going to create my own tray manually. So I'm going to do this by clicking on the plus icon at the top right of the screen. I'm going to call this one my PSHE tray. So I can name my tray and then give it an image if I like. So I can either use one of the clip art icons, or again, I can upload, I can paint. I'm just going to paint one today, and it's just going to be a nice smiley face. Nice and simple. And I might just change the colour as well to be something like green. Okay, so now I've got my PSHE tray. If I click on the pencil icon again, you'll notice there's a little tab here that says Choose Work to Pin. Now, because this is a brand new tray I've just created, there is no work currently in here for me to be able to pin up for my children to access. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and find some. I can either add work to this new tray from within Mini Mash. So for example, if I did want to do that, then I might go into my Mashcam library, my virtual dressing up box, and I might just find a mirror, and they can do a picture as to what they think their self looks what they look like if they were going to be a fairy tale character, for example. So I'm going to save this now, and I'm going to save this into my PSHE tray. As you can see, we've got a fairy tale mirror. I'm going to change this. I'm just going to call it my mirror. Click save. So now that's been added to my tray. And again, I can add countless numbers of files to this tray. And I can also view the contents as well by clicking on the icon for the pencil and click choose work to pin. And we can now see we've got one item currently in this tray. I'm also going to show you a way that you can add external resources to your trays, and these can then be pinned within Minimash. So I'm going to go back now to Purple Mash. And you'll see that if I click on the work folder at the top here, and I expand the school folder, you'll see that I've got the trays. So I'm going to expand the trays here, and you should see that I've created a new one called PSHE. So if I click on it, I can now see my mirror that I've created. So I can click on here, and I can, if I wanted to, I could print it out. I could move it to a different tray, I could copy it, and so on. But what I'm going to do actually is I'm now going to add some resources into this tray for my children to access. And you'll see this pop-up appears, prompting me to upload documents either by dragging and dropping them into this purple space, or if I click on it, it'll take me to my file library. So when I click on this now, it will take me to my document library. So I've created a PSHE folder, and within here I've got a couple of different fact files and all about me resources. So I'm going to control and highlight all of them and select open. And what that will do is that will upload those different resources into this tray that again I'm accessing within Purple Mash. So now I've got some resources that I've saved from within Minimash, and I've uploaded some external documents such as a Word document, PDF, PowerPoint. You can have any file type. The only limit is the file needs to be 64 megabytes or less. So now that I've added those to my tray, I'm going to go back into Minimash. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back into the tray, find my PSHE tray here, click on the pencil, and I'm now going to choose to pin some of those up for my children to work on. So I'm now going to get them to watch the PowerPoint all about me, and they're going to read the story, and then they're going to do the My Mirror activity. Now I've currently just got 4 pieces of work in here, but you can have endless files that you can pin and unpin as often as you like, and you can either quickly pin them all or unpin them all in one go quickly if you've got lots to sift through. So now that I've chosen them to pin, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add them to my pin board at the top. So I'm going to go back into Edit Pins, and then I'm going to just minus the other ones, subtract them from my list, and I want the only one to be my PSHE tray. So I'm going to add that to my pin, and I'm going to make that my only one. But again, if I had multiple pins, I could star it, and that could be the one that's seen at the top. So now when my children log in, they'll be able to see this classroom environment, and I can say, right, everyone, click on the smiley face PSHE pin, and then within there, they've got the resources that they can then access, and then can save it to their own tray within Minimash. Okay, so pins are a great way of just streamlining children's focus within Minimash, because obviously Minimash is a great platform for them to be able to explore and discover lots of different resources. But if you're wanting to focus on one particular area, then pins are an excellent way to go about doing that. So, setting up Minimash, getting the children logged on, getting them to land directly in Minimash, having their tray set up and getting pins sorted are really like the backbone of being able to use Minimash as a great early years tool. Now what we've gone through today is quite a lot. We have all of your teacher tools behind the icon, so please do utilise the help videos. The links to EYFS document and a scheme of work for reception are really key to be able to help you utilise either EYFS learning or computing elements within EYFS. The teacher tools allows you to use the different activities we have in Minimash, but be able to put your own content into it. So for example, if you are doing All About Me, a great one is to use the My Jigsaw tool. And I, in this case, can either draw a picture for the children to be able to piece together. And I can see that that's what they would need to do. They can drag and drop. Again, if they're on a tablet, they can do this really easily with their fingers by manipulating the screen. But if I want to actually make it a little bit more specific for the children, then what I could do is I could actually import a picture of them. So if I either want to take a selfie of them, if I've got a forward-facing camera on my device, alternatively, I might just browse my computer. And as you can see there, that pop-up does allow me also to be able to import any work the children have done. So if they want to piece together any of their work, that's always a nice idea as well. But here, I might just import a picture of a child, press OK, and then now I can preview what that activity looks like, and the children can then drag and drop different parts of their face. Now you might see here we've got a timer on the left. That can be a little bit off-putting, so you can change all of the different features of your activity. Again, we do have video tutorials explaining how to do this just by clicking on the icon in the top right of the screen. But if I just quickly demonstrate, you can click on the eye, find the stopwatch icon, and you can remove the time limit, or maybe if you want to just increase it by a certain amount, then you can do. Okay, and then you can add, it might be my face, and I might just say, click on the tiles and drag the pieces into place. Now, obviously, your children might not be able to read that, so you can narrate that instructions. Just click on the microphone and select record, and you can record your instructions verbally, which is a great option to allow children to be able to fully understand. They just need to make sure their speakers work on the device they're accessing on. And then when you're happy with that, I can save that now to my PSHE tray. And then if I wanted to, I could pin that up as an activity for the children to complete. Okay, so the teacher tools are all essentially blank canvases for you to adapt and to input the correct content that you want to use. Okay, so hopefully that's given you an idea as to how you can use Mini-Mash for your children in early years. Just want to leave by showing you some further resources to hopefully give you a bit more confidence as to how you can best use the system. So I'm going to go back to Purple Mash now, and I'm going to click on the Teachers tab at the top. Now within the Teachers tab we have the Professional Development area, and in here we have a training platform. You as teachers have access to this 24/7, so if you either yourself want to thumb up a little bit more on a particular area, you can see here we've got lots of different areas. I'm just going to draw your attention specifically to the EYFS course. If you click on it, you can navigate through the tabs in any order. For example, if you want to find out a bit more about creating resources, click on that tab. You can watch the short video that just demonstrates how you can use the features, and then we have printouts as well. And if you're the kind of person who likes to quiz yourself as to how much you've understood it, there is a quiz for each of the sections as well. To get back out of that, if you select log out, it will take you back into that teacher area. And then just within the professional development area here as well, one thing to point out, obviously today you've been watching a webinar which you've probably accessed via the webinar button, but we also do have Mash chats. So these are designed as you as a subscribing school to be able to click through and book in a time, a one-to-one screen share or telephone call with members of our CPD team that will allow you to go through any areas that you might be struggling with or you require further guidance on. So please do make use of that. That is included as part of your subscription at no additional cost. I hope you found today's webinar useful, and I wish you all the very best with your Mini-Mash journey. By all means, do get in touch with us either via the professional development area or on our Facebook or Twitter pages should you be part of that online community. All the very best and happy Mini-Mashing.